And I still don't know, and maybe you could shed some light on this. Was that a moral deficiency or is it a disease?
It is, I would call it a disorder that
Yep.
creates a moral deficiency. So
Mm,
some people say, "Oh, you must lack character to do that or sneak around on your wife like that or something like that." That's not the case. Is as the addiction progresses, you will find yourself doing things progressively more so against your value system. I don't care who you are.
yes.
I don't care what your principles were. I don't care who you are. If you get somebody completely opioid dependent, they're going to steal to not be sick. Like
Yeah.
it creates a moral or spiritual deficit.
Yes. What about the chemical brain disease side of things? Do you delve into that world at all?
Yes, and that's a very interesting question because over my career, my thought process has kind of evolved with that.
Yeah.
People used to ask me to give the brain talk all the time, and I can do it. I can draw it on the board. I'm like super fabulous at giving this lecture about the brain changes and talking
Yeah.
about it being a disease. However, the longer I'm in it, the more I move away from that. Not that I don't think that all those brain changes happen, but
Mm,
but what I think is you're addicted for years, and that's what creates the brain changes, as opposed to the opposite way around. Like, most people think addiction is dependency, right? Like, when you have
yes.
to drink in the morning or whatever. But actually, you've been addicted for years to get yourself to the point where you have to drink in the morning. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? It's like you're doing it so often, so regularly that you've trained your brain to need it. And so
Mm,
that addiction, that preoccupation, that obsession is there long before the brain changes or the chemical dependency happens.
yeah. I've also heard of it referred to as dis-ease
Mhm.
rather than
I like
disease.
that. Yeah, no,
So
okay,
this
yeah.
the same word can be slightly represented in another way, and that is that I feel uneasy within
Right.
myself.
And I'm not opposed to the disease concept because it does something really helpful, which is it destigmatizes things. And so
Yes.
I am for it in that nature. But if I get super granule, and super
Mm,
like in my nerd brain to say, well, is it officially this? It doesn't even really matter, honestly. It's like,
yes.
are you unhappy? And how do we get you out of it? That's really all that matters. But honestly, you know, people say it's a broken brain, and I'm like, not really. Our brains seek pleasure and avoid pain. And that's what you're doing in
Mm,
addiction. You're just confused about what's causing the pleasure and the pain.
yeah. And similarly, like with labels of like some people, will like we identify in Narcotics Anonymous as an addict, in
Mhm.
Alcoholics Anonymous as an alcoholic. My drug of choice is alcohol, but I refer to myself as an addict. And that's probably because my addiction goes well and truly beyond substance. I am a flawed person who seeks pleasure above all else. But I'm working on trying to be better at that as well,
Well,
Amber.
let's talk about that because
Yeah,
this isn't a clinical term, right? But we are all familiar with the idea of like addicted personality, right?
yeah,
That kind of, and I think that's kind of what you're saying. I would definitely consider myself that, even though I don't have a chemical dependency. I do everything excessively. I obsess about
yeah,
everything. I spend too much money. I
yeah,
eat too much sugar. Like everything is over the top with me. So I am definitely an addict. I just didn't ever start drinking. um,
yeah,
but the way I see that, and I see so many people that have addictions that are like that, and I love alcoholics. Like, alcoholic businessman is my specialty. You know why? Because they're like actually by nature ambitious, outgoing, fairly charismatic. Like, they're awesome.
yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't a
Thank you.
flaw. Yeah. I'm like, this isn't a flaw. This is a misuse of your superpower.
Yeah,
And I'm not trying to get you to be balanced, and I'm not trying to get you to be this other person. I'm trying to get you to redirect that energy to something that makes you feel great about you and doesn't
yes.
leave you feeling horrible about yourself.